Good job.
Thank you very much.
No, we don't. Actually, I'm also no, please.
I think that we're.
And I told you. I've never been.
Like to call the meeting to order. Will you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Miss Diana Arnold. Mr. Kevin Beatty.
Here.
Honorable Travis Buchanan for the Honorable Scott Bates.
Here.
Honorable John Black. Honorable Bernard Bowling.
Here.
Honorable Byron Chapman.
Here.
Honorable Jack Kaufman. Mr. Brian Dixon. Honorable Troy Etherington.
Here.
Mr. Chris John Streets for the Honorable Jeff Gahan. Honorable Nicole George.
She's here.
Yeah, I saw her in here. Mr. Keith Griffey. Mr. Abdel Data for the Honorable Treva Hodges. Honorable Maria Johnson. Honorable Dan Eisen.
Here.
Honorable Mike Moore. Honorable John Ogburn.
Here.
Honorable Carol Pike.
Here.
Honorable John Schellenberger.
Here.
Honorable Jerry Summers.
Here.
Honorable Rick Tanini.
Here.
Honorable Jim Travis. Honorable Scott Travis. Honorable Joe Ender for the Honorable David Vogel. See on the screen. We have one.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to the August KIPDA Board of Directors meeting. Appreciate everybody coming out on such a beautiful day where they could be doing a lot of other things. But we'll get right into the meeting and hopefully we can get back into the outside. Next item is the minutes. Everyone received a copy of the minutes. Are there any changes or corrections?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve, a second, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Carry. Next item is the June financials.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so on our June financials, we are 100% through, it is June 30th of 2024, so we're at the end of our fiscal year for June. And our CED expenditures were $894,017. As you can see it on the screen. And then our transportation was the $3,545,544. Our social services spend was the $5,371,210. And then our total operating costs were $10,399,574. And aging program related was $20,913,951 for a total of $31,313,525. Our next one is our agency-wide line item revenue and expenditures. And our current revenue for this agent for June through June 30th of 2024 is our $4,011,993, just rounding up. And our year-to-date was the $31,396,504. And then we go to page 35. We're at $3,901,636. And our year-to-date is the $3,313,525. And we are 92.94% in June, spent as of June. So we're looking at our balance sheet, and that's on page, starts on page 36. Our cash is $3,167,230. And then our total receivable is $3,594,640. Just our total liabilities and projects were $11,386,389. And do we have any questions?
Anyone have any questions about the June financials? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion to accept the report.
Motion.
Second. Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Rita, you're still up for July now.
Yeah. So July, started effective July fiscal year 25, we decided we were gonna do something a little different as far as presenting. Instead of me just giving you a bunch of numbers, we decided to do some the bar graphs. And we thought maybe that might be a little bit easier for people to look at and kind of understand what's going on. So on our first section, it's the CED section. And to the right of that area is the $894,701, which is our budget for CED. And then our expenditures for this first period and year to date, because we're in the first month, is $95,506. The section is our transportation, and our budget is 5,633,041. And our year-to-date and current, because we are in the first month, as I said before, is 421,479. 421,479. Then when we get to our Department of Social Services section, we have the budget is 27,135,909. And our spend for the first period is 1,836,294, and we have a 6.77% spend. The other operating, it's a little skewed because we had a budget of 32,000, but we spent about 89, and a lot of that is just moving money around to those other programs to cover our match, so it's off just a little. So we can move on to the next section, which is our agency, actual the budget comparison. And these numbers are based on, like it says, agency-wide, not just broken down between our CD, transportation, and our Department of Social Services, but as an agency, our revenues, or the way we budgeted, was 33,695,651. And we have spent 2,396,320 for 7.11% so far. And then our expenditures are on the right side, and our budget that we have for our expenditures, of course, is the same as our revenues, but we have expenditures of 2,442,842. And we can go on to our third graph, which really is pretty much what we have on our balance sheet. And it's just showing that as our cash in our balance sheet, we have 7% cash, 19% is our total receivable, and then our total of our other assets is 24%, and our total liabilities and projects are 50%. Does anyone have any questions on that one? And I guess I'm just kind of curious about whether you like the June presentation or the July as far as with the graphs.
And also what information you would like for us. I know that we give you all a lot of information. It's a lot to try to absorb, and how best we can present these financial information to you all monthly.
Anybody have any comments?
I like the graphs.
Yeah.
I think they're easier to grasp for.
You did a good visual instead of just hearing these numbers.
Yeah.
Run together.
I agree.
And so is there anything in particular else that you would like to see on these graphs, or just I'm gonna go with whatever I give you?
Like on the balance sheet here where you got the percentages,
Mhm.
if you could find room to put
With
the,
the actual amounts.
the actual amount too,
Okay,
that would help.
sounds good.
Okay, any other comments? I'll entertain a motion to accept the July financials.
Motion.
Second. Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, number 7, Regional Transportation Council, Mick Logston.
Good afternoon. I kept the RPC meeting was scheduled for today at 1 p.m. in a small conference room. Unfortunately, the quorum was not present, so we could not conduct business. However, in lieu of the RPC meeting, we had a Safe Streets and Roads for All Safety Committee meeting for Trimble County. The safety meeting included crash maps for a 5-year period from 2018 to 2022. The maps showed 15 fatalities, which is the highest per capita rate of the 16 jurisdictions in the Safe Streets and Roads for All program. The meeting identified several concerns, including a section of US 421 needing high friction surface treatment, a narrow bridge near the city of Milton on Highway 36 that needs widening, and the need for sidewalks to the schools in Bedford. That concludes my report, but I can back to take any questions.
Anyone have any questions? I'll entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Have a motion, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item. Transportation Policy Committee, Andy?
Thank you. The Transportation Policy Committee met here in this room at 12:30 earlier this afternoon. I'll cover a couple of highlights from that meeting today. We had former KIPDA staff, Alex Pazorski, here from TARC to talk about the TARC 2025 program. That's the route restructuring. Route restructuring is a nice way of saying they're gonna have to cut a significant amount of their revenue hours. And so they're gonna have to more or less do one of two things. Reduce the frequency of the routes, that is, less gonna come less often, or reduce where the route goes, how far out it goes, perhaps into the suburbs. So for those that haven't interacted with TARC on that, he and they at TARC are looking for other agencies, public, private, otherwise, to talk about this right now, because it's kind of a critical time for TARC as they go off what they call the fiscal cliff. The fiscal cliff is the lack of the coronavirus era stimulus funds that have propped up the budget on some level for the past several years. So there's a good presentation from TARC. If you need more information, please reach out to me or KIPDA staff, and we can get you in touch with Alex. There's a amendment to our work program that was passed by the TPC. It's a relatively minor amendment, kind of defining which agencies received some of our planning dollars this year, and giving TARC a slight boost in the route monitoring money that gets passed through to TARC from KIPDA each year. More on that in a moment. Brady presented the MPO dedicated cost increases. That the opportunity is money is put away each year for these cost increases with inflation. They're about $4 million each year, and so there were 6 cost increase projects that had cost increases, and those were approved. They were from around the Kentucky side of the region. Then there was one unique one for a grant or for a project that would in West Louisville in the Portland area, that would the project would basically help mitigate the bifurcation, or whatever you want to call it, of I-64 Riverside Expressway from the Sherman Minton Bridge into downtown Louisville. The interstate was built there a couple generations ago, I guess you could say, and that's really separated places like Landon Park and some of the area adjacent to where the new waterfront park phase, I think it's 4, am I right? The new waterfront park development as it moves west. KYTC is interested in pursuing a reconnecting communities grant. That's one of the federal discretionary grants, and so they want some KIPDA funds, some KIPDA federal funds, if you will, to help bolster their application. And that project seemed to be very favorably received by the TPC today in our technical committee meeting last week as well. So much so that at the end of the committee meeting today, TPC meeting today, that the TPC moved to ask that KIPDA become a large part of that grant application, perhaps even putting KIPDA's name on it, so to speak, because they think KYTC believes that it would be better received from the federal government if that were the case, rather than the state DOT. So I was happy to get the buy-in from the TPC today on that. So real cool project that hopefully comes to fruition not too distant future. Brady reiterated, and I'll reiterate here, that we have a call for projects that's outstanding, and that call for projects is for all the KIPDA dedicated funds. That's open until October 31st. If you have any questions, please reach out to Brady Hill or Chris Nicholas on KIPDA MPO staff. Again, that's October 31st, both states, Kentucky and Indiana, for those funds. And I think with that, that will conclude my report. I'm happy to take any questions.
Anyone have any questions of Andy? I'll entertain a motion to accept his report.
Motion,
Second,
second.
have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Andy, and you're up again for number 9.
Sir.
The Transportation Division contract.
So for your review and approval today, there are 3 what I would call annual or standard contracts that the KIPDA MPO has, passing through money for various purposes, and I'll go over each one of those here today. The first one is a fiscal year 2025 update of our what we call our Louisville Metro Traffic Counting contract for a very long time, longer than I've been at KIPDA and longer for probably at least 15, 20 years, probably more. KIPDA has passed through some federal funds to Louisville Metro government so that they can do a robust series of traffic counts all around the county. And so that's no change to that this year. No changes proposed to that one this year. The second is the TARC route monitoring contract. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. The cost of that did go up slightly this year. The reason for that is TARC got charged a little bit more, $22,387 more for their association with the Logic Consortium, the GIS group there. And so that they asked if we could provide that in the form of federal dollars. And then the third one is the Louisville Metro Air Pollution Control District's CARE contract. So via the CMAQ dollars, congestion mitigation air quality dollars from Indiana, year in, year out, the money through or via KIPDA to the Louisville Metro Air Pollution Control District for their Kentuckiana Air Education Program. It's a marketing outreach campaign and to clean air. For those of you that watched the Olympics, about every night on the Olympics last month, there's probably some commercials on there. And so some of those probably were purchased with these dollars, as a matter of fact. And so that's part of the marketing they do. They do a lot more with, among other things, carpool lines at school, you know, car off 10, count to 10, car off 10. Quit leaving your car on while you're waiting for 30 minutes to pick up your kid at school. And so that's the type of work that ABC does with this outreach effort. So again, there's no change to that one this year. These are all the same contracts we have year in, year out. That slight increase to the top. That concludes that report.
Anyone have any questions of Andy? I'll entertain a motion to accept his report
Motion to accept, Scott Travis.
in a second. Carol, second. All in favor?
Yeah.
Motion carries. Next item. BEAD program update, Zach.
I'll wait for Paul to get the link pulled up. Good afternoon, everybody. This is just a quick update for the BEAD process that we went through a couple months ago. Unfortunately, I don't have any good news to update. There's no grant money available. If you want to scroll down a little bit, keep going, one more. Well, these are the maps that we came out with. I don't know if some of the judges might remember. Go one map there, Paul. No, other way. There you go. We came out, the green dots were served and the red dots were unserved and yellow were underserved. I don't know if you remember this. Shortly after we did this, the board of, or the Office of Broadband released more information for us that were contracts or areas that were already served or already promised to have service by someone. And it's gonna be Spectrum for everybody. So if you want to scroll down one more there, Paul. This is just a map of Henry County, and the orange is the area that's already promised. So any dots that we would have chosen to challenge within that orange are no longer available to challenge. And if you look in your packets, I wasn't able to get them in time, but Rachel was kind enough to put them, tuck them in there somewhere. There are maps of each of the counties that we did challenge in, and you can see what areas are already promised, who they're promised to, they're all Spectrum, and how much have been promised so far. Pretty much the only counties that challenged were Trimble, Henry, Shelby, and Spencer. And all the addresses we chose to challenge were pretty much in one of these areas that were already promised. So as far as challenging goes this time around, it's a no-go. So, that's all I got for now. No action requested. If there's any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, do we need to vote? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, Regional Planning Council, Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody. I'll be brief with this one. So the KIPDA Regional Planning Council, met, last Tuesday, July 9th, from 11 to 12 in this room, as well as on Zoom. In addition to our regular business, we also had, some guest speakers. We had Brian Davis and KIPDA of Louisville Planning and Zoning.
Brian, could you speak up a little bit, please?
Yeah, sure. We have Brian Davis and Caitlin Dever of Louisville Metro Planning and Zoning join us for a presentation, as well as Jeff Frank and several members of Friends of Floyd's Fork. The presentation was in regards to some new regulations that Louisville Metro has recently implemented concerning development in the Salt River watershed Floyd's Fork area. Within the boundaries of Jefferson County. The RPC heard a presentation from Brian, Caitlin, and Jeff about these regulations, as well as about the current state of the Parkland Floyd's Fork area and how best to protect both the popular recreational amenity that it provides, as well as the critical habitat that it provides. So at the conclusion of this meeting, it was proposed that these regulations perhaps be expanded to cover areas of the Salt River watershed beyond Jefferson County's borders. So this would be into the smaller portions of the Salt River watershed in Henry, Spencer, and Bullitt counties. So at our next RPC meeting in October, the council will hear a presentation from Paul Marin of Stern Associates Engineering, who previously did a study on the wastewater systems adjacent to and within the Salt River watershed back in 2014. One of the big concerns for this area is effluent from wastewater systems currently existing within the Salt River watershed. So the RPC, along with the Regional Water Management Council run by my colleague Justin, will consider the results of this study and the possibility of conducting an updated study in our region for best practices for wastewater management, as well as for some of the other regulations contained within Louisville Metro's recent change there. Yes, and the next regional planning council meeting will be October 8th at 11 a.m. from 11 to 12 in this room. That concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept Ryan's report. Got a motion?
I'll
Second. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Ryan. Next item, regional water management, Justin.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Board. The KIPDA Regional Water Management Council met here in the Burke Room and virtually via Zoom on Tuesday, July 9th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Our guest speaker was Ms. Debbie Landrum with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. Ms. Landrum gave a presentation about the new Kentucky W Waters program. She informed the council that the Kentucky W Waters program is designed for financially troubled or economically strained water and wastewater systems in our Commonwealth, and for projects that are addressing an infrastructure state of emergency within our community. She said that KIA accepts and reviews the applications and will perform a credit analysis for all eligibility. The Kentucky General Assembly will decide who will receive the Kentucky W Waters program funding during the 2025 legislative session, and KIA will administer the funding after the session ends in March of next year. There is slated to be $75 million in funds available for the year 2025 and another $75 million for the following year in 2026 for a total of $150 million. The Kentucky W Waters program timeline is as follows. Applications will be accepted until next Friday, August 30th. Projects will be taken to the KIA board for scoring on September 5th and their board meeting on October 3rd. Project applications and scores will be provided to the General Assembly on December 1st. And then the General Assembly will select projects to receive funding from January to March of next year. KIA will then contact the approved applicants by the end of April 2025. In order to be eligible for this funding, applicants must meet at least one of the following criteria. Service area median household income, MHI, must be less than the Commonwealth's state MHI. User rate affordability must be greater than 1% of the annual MHI. Negative income in any 2 of the previous 5 years. Debt service coverage ratio of less than 1 to 1 in any 3 of the previous 5 years. Accounts payable turnover ratio of less than 1. Days sales and accounts receivable ratio of greater than 45 days. A notice of violation, agreed order, or consent decree over the past year, and then a water loss percentage greater than 30%. The following types of projects are eligible for Kentucky W Water's funding. There will be capital construction projects, development of technical, operational, and maintenance resources and expertise, improvement of utility infrastructure planning, the repair, maintenance, renovation, rehabilitation, and management of plants and assets, procurement of technical expertise in areas of rate setting, cost of service, proper utility accounting standards for the utility. Assistance with payment for excessive maintenance costs, fines, and penalties from past violations or consultants. And lastly, the correction of inadequately maintained distribution, collection, or treatment works. This also includes service extensions to unserved or underserved areas. So we only have 3 applicants right now. The deadline is next Friday. Ryan, Lloyd, and myself are assisting those 3 applicants by next Friday. However, this funding source is kind of geared towards systems who are in financial dire straits. Thankfully, we don't have too many here in our KIPDA region. It's one of those issues where, if you have a consent decree, agreed order, you find yourself in trouble, this is for you. Thankfully, it's gonna address a lot of the systems who are in need of that across our state, but also thankfully, we don't have too many of those here in our KIPDA region. However, we are working with Louisville County Judge Executive Jerry Summers and Louisville MSD on an application, looking with some in Trimble County with Judge Ogburn. And we're also looking with one in the city of Newcastle with their Public Works Director, Jody Bramlett up there. So if anyone has any questions, please reach out to me or my coworker colleague, Ryan Lloyd. We'll be happy to assist you with these applications. The deadline is next Friday. It's a hard deadline. We're very confident that the 3 applications that we're working on will be invited for funding, but we would like to have more if possible. The interest rates for the Kentucky W Waters program loans are, the standard rate is 1.75%. Non-standard rate is 0.75, and then there's a non-standard rate, essentially a grant at 0%. Water and wastewater systems interested in applying, please reach out to me ASAP. Like I stated, we're here to help in any way. The council on July 9th also approved 3 new water projects and 1 sewer project. The 3 water projects were all Louisville Water Company projects in Bullock County. Those were the Shepherdsville Road Water Main Extension, the Moore Lane Water Main Extension Project, and the Cave Springs Drive Water Main Extension Project. Sure you're happy to hear all those, sir. And the sewer project was for Judge Travis in Spencer County and his hardworking staff there with Spencer County Fiscal Court. That is the Spencer County Sanitation District Wastewater Treatment Plant, which they received $10,050,000 through a line item grant that KIPDA is helping assist through the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. The state revolving fund loan season is upon us. It starts September 15th. This will be a call for projects. Please reach out to me if you have any SRF projects in mind for this cycle. I'm also gonna be reaching out in the next week or so to start scheduling all of our county water management council meetings. Those are held every September in preparation for our October regional water management council meeting, where we approve the rankings, the county rankings and the regional rankings. We will discuss all water, wastewater, and stormwater priorities and rank and prioritize them, and then approve them in the Regional Water Management Council meeting in October. That is scheduled for October 9th. Ryan Lloyd and I will be attending the Kentucky Rural Water Association's 45th Annual Conference at the Central Bank Center in Lexington next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. And once again, all the cleaner water program, I'm very proud of our staff in the said division. We only have 1 project remaining, 1 grant left to get under assistance agreement. So we're very proud of that. It's been a pleasure working with everyone on that. I don't foresee that project, that grant being issued to get under assistance agreement by the deadline next Friday. There's also a deadline for all of reallocation requests and supplemental grant CWP requests. That's next Friday as well. We are working diligently to get those. There's been quite a few last minute reallocation requests that we've worked with in every county. So we are on schedule to get all of those reallocated and all that grant money. I don't foresee a single cent of cleaner water program, regular allocations, county allocations or reallocations leaving our KIPDA region by the end of next Friday. So this concludes my report. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Board.
Anyone have any questions of Justin? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept his report.
Got it.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion carries. Next item.
Just real quick, to brag on Justin as well as kind of all the utilities, those cleaner water projects statewide, there is a big delay. There's talk about having that money redistributed. Justin and your all staff have worked very hard to make sure that money remains in our region. So again, just want to recognize those efforts because KIPDA really is kind of standing out in that regard.
And if they want to give us any more, people will be happy to start utilities and get that distributed as well.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Next item, Regional Seeds Committee. Ethan.
Our Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy Committee met on Wednesday. This was our first meeting of the year. The SEDS is a document that we have to prepare every year. There's a 5-year rewrite, and then in between there's 1-year update. So this is a 1-year update. The deadline to get this to the EDA is December. We're anticipating, so that we just had our first meeting in August, we're anticipating 1, maybe 2 more meetings, and then we should be able to get it finalized. No new guidelines have come out from the EDA since last year, and we made all of our big updates to get to that next level of compliance last year. Primarily was on broadband language and equity language. So we bolstered that up last year, and so we're in really good shape this year. And primarily, it's going to be updating demographic data and economic data, things like that. We are also gonna revamp some of our environmental justice language that's included in the SEDS, and any other recommendations for the economic development strategy we'll be sure to implement. I had a good conversation with Sarah Erisman from Kentuckiana Works about data that she has that we could implement into the SEDS, primarily from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. All of that will be considered moving forward and added into the document. We did this year move it used to be KIPDASEDS.org. We moved that over to the KIPDA.org website. So it will just be under KIPDA.org and then under the Community and Economic Development tab. So that is live. I just need to make some changes to graphics to bring it into our branding guidelines, but that should be it. So we're on really good track. We should be bringing it to the board for consideration and approval, possibly in October, maybe November, to get approval, and then we can get that submitted to the EDA for final approval there. That's my report. I believe it says action is requested, but I don't think we actually need action, but if anybody has questions for me. I'll also say, if you are not getting emails from me on the SEDS committee, like for the SEDS committee, and you want to be on there, let me know and I can add everybody. Or if you want to appoint somebody in your place to attend those meetings, please let me know who to add to that email list, so we can have as many people participate in the process as possible. So, questions?
No questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Next item, the approval of the ADF funding. Felicia?
Good afternoon. So Shelby County is asking for approval for an application for the Shelby County Communications Update and Project Lifesaver Program. The ADF funds will be used to purchase 911 dispatchers headsets and additional funding for the Project Lifesaver Search Program. The project cost and the ADF funds being requested is $4,624.35. So action is requested.
Okay, I have a motion
I'll second.
And a second, any questions of Felicia? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries.
Then also a reminder, if you have not submitted an application for ADF funds, please get those to me.
Felicia, who is that that's still outstanding?
Bullitt County, Henry County, and Louisville Metro. Louisville Metro still has an issue on addition from funding from 2017. That I've been in contact with finance and they can't find documentation, but this has been going on for 2 years. So we'll have to talk and figure out, but it will be currently it's around 25,000. But then with the ones that from the other one was 60. So it might be a total of 80. There's a whole formula that we'll have to go through, but I'll be in contact with you.
Who have you been working with no one be?
It's a first name. It's the director of the finance.
Angie Dunn or Aaron Jackson?
Doesn't sound familiar. So I'll follow up with you on that.
Okay, next item, overview of the grant program, Felicia.
Okay, so this is in your rolls, I believe, probably in the front pocket. This is just some facts and agencies. So this is the Government Resource Accelerating Needed Transformation Program of 2024. This program was established in the last legislative session. And it's to leverage federal funds. I know I've talked to the majority of you about that, but I just kind of want to go a little bit over the program. So this was passed. It's a Kentucky state program that's being housed in the Kentucky Economic Development Cabinet. This is there's $200 million that was put into the state budget for 2 years where local governments can apply for that matching requirement for federal funds. So this is kind of to alleviate the strain on some of our local communities who want to apply for federal funds, but do not have the resources to provide that 20 or 50% match. So this, if y'all haven't looked at this yet, you all might want to look over it. I don't know if it's in the front pocket or if it's in the agenda. Rachel, do you know, did you put this in the front pocket?
I thought I did.
It was? Okay. Okay. Oh, you don't have it?
Which I hope that.
I will email it out to you. I'm sorry. So it was established, it's, applicants with potential projects and the intent to submit a federal application for federal grant resources that are in the public interest and for a public purpose may seek funding assistance from the grant program. It's kind of confusing. If you're applying for a grant, federal grant, you can apply for the state grant program of 2024. So the eligible applicants are a county, a city, and a 501c. They actually just added a subdivision of a county or a city. So if you have your water district or EMS board that's actually a subdivision of that unit of government, they can also apply as well. The eligible project so if it's a federal fund, that actual funding source has to have a requirement match. I know a lot of the grants that we apply for say there's no matching funds that are needed, but if you put some in, you'll, kind of boost up your application. This actually has to show that there is a required matching fund. The grant program will help offset that matching requirement based on what county is applying. So when I send this out to you all, it will have a list of all the counties. So it goes from 5% down to 1%. Of course, some of our bigger counties are going to be required 5%. Trimble County is the only one that only has a 2% required match. Henry is 3%. Let's see, and Oldham, Jefferson, Shelby, and Spencer are all 5%. So, for the federal funds, it either has to be a HUD federal grant, are one of these agencies, so listed in the agencies are the US Department of Energy, Treasury, Interior, so that's gonna be your parks, land and water, rec trails, agricultural, Department of Commerce, EDA, EPA, Department of Education, Department of Transportation, and the Labor Cabinet. So those are all eligible for this grant program. So what it does is if you have an 80-20% match, you're asking for the grant program through the state for 20%. But depending on what county you are, say if it's Jefferson County would have to come up with 5% of that 20%, not of the total 80%. So it kind of really reduces your matching requirement for the for your match for a federal one. So it's a very easy process. They take applications monthly on the first of the month. So if there's any federal grants that you all know that you all are applying for that's not being assisted by us KIPDA staff, let us know. We will apply for you through the Cabinet of Economic Development, and they usually get an answer back within a week or two. And it doesn't have to be approved yet by the federal government. So as soon as you submit your application to the federal government, let us know and we can do our state one to actually get some of those matching funds for you all. So that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions regarding that?
I do, Felicia.
Yes, sir.
So does the income matter in your county? You have to be low to moderate income or not?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not to, all you have to do is be applying for a federal grant. Every county is eligible for this. Now, it's only $200 million. Once that runs out, who knows if it's gonna be put into the next budget.
Any other questions about the grant program? Okay, we'll move on to item 16, available funding opportunities.
That comes to this. So of course, Dustin put this together for you. So this is available funding opportunities that are open currently. Of course, we got our community development block grant. The only ones that are still open are economic development and housing. So if you all have, if you all have any companies that want to locate in your county or your city, please reach out to us because there's always, if it's going to create jobs, we can always find some type of funding for your community, for infrastructure, or it can even buy equipment for the actual company that's coming there into your community. And you all can look at that. If you all have any questions on any of the other funding opportunities, please reach out to us. And this is also in your packet. The Regional Planning Council will be hosting KRS 147, which is Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment Training. That's going to be September 17th here at KIPDA, the Kentucky chapter of the American Planning Association. So we're putting that on. I have sent this all to your all's planning director so they know about it, but magistrates are welcome, county judges are welcome. All those credits will account for the credits that you all are required to have. So there's a registration, or just call me and let me know you want to come. No cost. Except for lunch, if you want lunch provided. That concludes my report.
Any questions of Felicia? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, ratification of the Brownfield Grant RFP. Jennifer.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So KIPDA has been awarded a $1.5 million Brownfield Assessment Coalition grant from the EPA. The purpose of this grant is to inventory, assess, and plan for the cleanup and redevelopment of brownfield sites, which are properties that are possibly contaminated with hazardous substances. KIPDA is the lead member of the coalition for this grant, which also includes the city of Shepherdsville and the nonprofit Shelby Main Street Foundation. We want to thank these partners as well as Trumbull County for their assistance with our successful application. We will be assessing brownfield sites throughout the region in the Kentucky counties we serve, as well as Park and Floyd in Indiana. The assessment of the brownfield sites must be carried out by a qualified environmental professional. And the EPA requires us to use a competitive process using requests for proposals. In the interest of time, and so that we could be eligible for additional possible cleanup funding this fall, the CED division advertised a request for proposals from qualified environmental professionals on July 24th. And if no one has any questions about the RFP, we do request board action to ratify the release of the request for proposal.
Any questions from anyone? Comments? A motion would be in order. Have a motion and a second. And a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Jennifer, could you speak on when the bid opening will be for that RFP?
The deadline was today, and so we will be, I think, opening our first one in the morning. We've received 4 proposals, so. We hope to have a recommendation for the next board meeting.
And again, just to reiterate, I think this is really exciting because it's the first time we've been able to cross the river with our Community Economic Development Division. So as she alluded to, this does include Clark and Floyd County and those communities.
Thank you. Next item, number 18, Division of Social Service Business. Tricia.
Good afternoon. As I said, it's agenda item 18 on pages 54 and 55. Gonna jump around just a little bit to try to minimize how many times you all have to vote on myself. We have a few things that we would need to ratify today. We want to ratify the executive director's signature, one, the FY25, FY26 MIPA and NSIP contracts. They are, that's it. So, those are Dale contracts that we receive each year. They just run on a different, calendar other than the state fiscal year. We also are requesting a subcontract award for Somali Community of Louisville for FY25 and 26 to provide navigator services totaling $246,912. This is part of the KHBE Connect program. I'm gonna skip the next one because it involves Metro Louisville. For our 3B transportation contracts, we're requesting an amendment to the FY25 contract for Louisville Wheels Transportation. We would like to move $41,000 from Center Transportation allocated for Jefferson County to Center Transportation for the multi-purpose region, primarily starting out in Bullitt County. And this is not an increase to the contract, it's just a move of funding. And the last one is we would like to ratify the executive director's signature on a contract, a grant contract for the Geriatric Workforce Enhancement Program with the U of L Traeger Institute. It is a 5-year contract totaling $50,000. In this grant, we'll have a social worker present at the KIPDA office to establish a center of excellence for care transitions working with U of L Traeger. So we can get approval for those 4 items.
Does anyone have any questions? I entertain a motion on those items. In a second,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the last one, which is actually the 3rd one on my list, we just asked that KIPDA Services is requesting the board to approve an amendment for the contract for Louisville Metro Office of Resilience and Community Services. Again, for the KHBE Connect subcontract, we would like to increase the award amount from $323,797 for FY25 to $559,620. There was essentially some contract changes from KHBE. And we were able to add some additional staffing to the Metro contract to help us implement this program. Any questions?
Seeing no questions, I'll entertain a motion in a second. Got a motion, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you.
Next item, financial management services update, Jessica.
Hello, everybody. I'm gonna do a plug real quick before I get into financial management. I'm sure you all seen my emails about our survey that's up right now for our area plan. It goes through the 27th. Just a reminder, Henry County's percentage is off the charts right now. I know y'all like a little friendly competition. Jefferson County is actually catching up, 'cause we did a newspaper publication, so their percentage rate is up there again. But as far as rural counties, if y'all want, a little competition, you might want to look over at Henry County, because they're doing it out there for however. But it's really important that we get those responses. A reminder, those are for anybody age 50 and over. We're trying to catch some caregiver information in there as well. And we, across the board, we do have great responses, so, but some more wouldn't hurt. So thank you for that. You might recall, a board meeting or so ago, we spoke to you about financial management services in our waiver program and asked you to approve signing of an MOU with Freedom Adult Daycare. Those services are basically a piece of what we have done in waiver for so many years, just the financial management. At that time, the state had certified 4 other agencies. At last count this morning, they have 16 certified. So we're looking to partner with more of them, and we've been meeting with them. So today, if you look at agenda item number 19, which is the next agenda item past Tricia's, we're asking for you all to ratify our executive director's signature. After I asked if you all have any questions about those financial management services, I'll walk through each one.
I think just again, as a reminder how this came about, KIPDA had always been the case management agency as well as the financial management agency with the backlog of clients on a waiting list. The cabinet decided to open up that case management to outside entities. So we started, I think in October, they started having new agencies apply for certification. As they've gotten certified to provide that case management service, they did not have somebody to provide the financial management service. So the cabinet had requested the ads to provide this financial management service. We brought this to you all to help fill that void, because if we did not fill that void, then they were going to start allowing these case management agencies to additionally become certified financial management agencies. And with that snowball, we were concerned how that might eventually impact us. So we also see this as an opportunity for an additional revenue stream, and thanks to the strong network we have internally and the strong staff, we feel we can take on these agencies to provide this financial management service. So as they have been certified, Jessica and her team have been reaching out to them individually, asking and engaging with them. We've been meeting with them individually. So it's just been a really kind of a fast moving process. That's why we are bringing these ratifications to you, and then also just kind of future as new case management agencies are onboarded.
We've been quite busy making sure our future is bright. And that Kentucky is served, because this really does mean that a lot of the Kentuckians out there on fallback list and wait list will have an opportunity to serve. Some of these are much larger, like Freedom. For instance, they plan to have more than 100 clients probably throughout 1 year. Some of them are smaller, will have 10 or 20. Potentially that's where they say they're at. They can grow just as fast as well, but it does absolutely mean another revenue stream for our waiver department, which has struggled for many years. And until the new waiver rates are approved, we continue to fight that balance, but this will help us get there.
And this agreement has been reviewed by Mitzi, so we did have legal sign offs. And then we've also, the way it's structured is we have it for 6 months with a cap of 50, just so everybody kind of moves at a measured approach as opposed to moving too quickly. And then we can revisit it to make sure that it is working.
Sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you, Mr. Haley.
We did have an ad finance meeting this week, and we are the one ad that is actually doing this right now.
Yes.
They're gonna be looking at us, so.
We are setting the standard.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So please ask any questions that you may have. I'll probably be bringing this to you for the next few months. We have no idea how many they'll end up certifying overall. And like Mr. Haley said, we are slow rolling it to make sure we have capacity to take on additional clients. And we've informed all of them of that we are taking on a certain number of clients from them for a short period of time, and then after that, they can roll.
Is there a limit as to how many you can have in a zip code?
Nope.
Well, I think we're all in that.
Are they? Well, there's about to be more people they can call. Throughout this next month, we hope to get our first ones from Freedom, which you all approved before, so we're really gonna see, you know, how everything plays out and then jump right in. Head first. So, you don't have any additional questions, I will list the ones that we currently have an MOU with, and we can vote on those.
Okay,
Yeah. All right, so currently, we're asking for ratification of, and I'll take both of these together if y'all don't mind. A1 Case Management, Second Home Adult Day Healthcare, Freedom, which is finalized and signed, Blue Sky Case Management. I need to add one more if you all write it in. I just got it before this meeting. It is Mountain Comp. And then we're asking for approval for our executive director to sign the ones that are pending out there. And there are currently 4 of them. They are with Advantage Case Management, Ability, Allied Adult Day Health, and JBS Case Management. So they currently have MOUs in their hands and are reviewing them for signature, and then our executive director would sign those. And then we'll bring them back next month for ratification, so. Asking for approval of the process that we are in currently. And why they all start with A, I do not know. It's very-
I entertain a
It's
motion.
been very hard.
I have a motion, a second. Got a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, sir.
Next item, Senior Institute Program. Ricky Hertz.
Thank you. Miss Ricky is actually not here today. She's not feeling very well, so there's some prayers. So I'm gonna talk to you about the senior nutrition program, which we're going to keep you all updated on. I'll keep it brief, but to let you all know where we're at. We just wrapped up July, and in July, we served 2,772 meals under ESNP. We served 9,500 meals under our congregate sites that are out there, and we served nearly 30,000 meals in CT. Currently, we've been meeting with the state on a regular basis. If you recall, we talked about the ESNP fundings, the lack of ARPA dollars, what our meal program looks like. They have been in good communication with us. We're hoping to hear something in the next few weeks about how the rest of our year is going to play out. We feel confident that we're going to get an answer here soon from them based on the funding meeting that we had this week. They are looking across the state of what funding needs are there and how to meet them moving forward in our meal programs. As you all know, it's more like, I think it was, I can't remember which one of them talked about it, but it's that cliff, on that cliff after some funding with the ARPA dollars. But we haven't been told to stop. They are evaluating. They asked us for our waiting to be assessed numbers right now, so we get quite a few referrals each day. We try to stay within a 30-day window to assess. They want to know exactly how many people we have there who we're serving now. So we're really taking a deep dive into it, which we appreciate right now, moving forward. So,
just to elaborate, because I don't want to ever surprise you all, and I know this impacts you all greatly. The directive we received from the Department of Aging and Independent Living was to push forward to anybody 16 over to receive a meal. No wait list, provide everybody with a meal. We are currently showing, and we have let them know prior to the fiscal year starting, that we are currently displaying a deficit of $1.5 million running out of that funding in December. This has been formally submitted to the Department of Aging and Independent Living. They told us to continue to push forward. We did our finance call earlier this week, again, reiterated that. I've been speaking to my colleagues across the state. We are not alone. All 15 of us are showing that deficit. We have continued to receive promises that we're going to receive that funding, but at some point, I don't know if they're going to tell us to start pulling back on services. So we will be open with you all as we move forward, but that is a concern. It's something I know gives Tricia a lot of gray hair as she's looking at her budget. But it is, again, we have received the promises from the cabinet that we're going to be made whole. The funding calls should be wrapped up at the first week of September with the Department of Aging with all 15 ads. And at that point, they're going to bring all 15 of us together to meet with the commissioner of the Department of Aging and Independent Living to show that shortfall. So hopefully at next month's meeting, I'll have more to report. But again, just to keep you all apprised of the issue, we are currently looking at running out in December.
Yeah, and I do want you to know, which I'm sure you're already well aware, but I definitely want to say in this room, if we're told to slow down or to stop, taking on new clients, please know that we have to do that in the most appropriate way, the most thoughtful way that we possibly can, making sure that we're serving those with the greatest need, as we move forward. Thank you all for all your help and support through the meals journey over the past few years and your continued support of that.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
You don't need a vote on that, I think.
No, sir.
Okay. Item number 21, August personnel report. Megan?
Not a whole lot to report over the last month. Kyle Thorne resigned as transportation planner in the middle of July. We had, at the time of writing of this report, we had 3 vacancies, the connector in Kimball, Henry, and Carroll counties, and the Chelsea Waiver Case Management Manager and the nutrition assessor. As always, you know where to find the job postings on our website, and our current staff count is 78 full-time permanent, 3 part-time permanent, and 1 full-time temporary. Actually, it's really simple.
Any questions, Megan? Motion to accept her report. Second. Have a motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Next item is the intergovernmental reviews.
These projects A through G have been submitted for local review. No comments have been received, so these 7 items can be taken together.
Okay, do I hear a motion? Have a motion, a second? Have a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Next item, executive director's report.
Well, I want to formally recognize Judge Scott Travis. He joined after we did the roll call, so thank you for joining us today. And thank you all that are here and also on the screen. Additionally, it's good to be joined by Stacey Rockway with Congressman Massey's office. Is there anything you would like to share?
No, he does appreciate all of the kind comments and calls and notes that he received after passing his wife, so he did want me to pass that along. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Stacey. One update I would like to share and just kind of action about how to move forward with it. Many in here, this has been an issue that we've been dealing with for a long time. It goes back to the transition and home and community-based waiver, again, going back to waiver between 2017 and 2018. We did not receive reimbursement for services provided. It was an issue with the Medicaid. This board authorized this. It was the first meeting Judge Ogburn went to before he took office when we were out in Oldham County to move forward with legal action against the cabinet. That was filed, but at the same time, our attorney has continued to negotiate with cabinet's attorney. And as of this week, the Department of Medicaid is reviewing our list that we have submitted, which again, as a reminder, is approximately $400,000. And they are supposed to get back to us with a settlement amount. They are interested in settling. So thankfully, hopefully we can soon close the book on this because it has been dragging on. So I would like to ask this board, I don't know when that'll happen. It's been a slow moving process, but just for this board to allow me to work with our executive committee once we do receive a settlement request.
Okay, do I hear a motion on that? Have a motion, second.
Second.
All in favor? That motion carried.
Thank you. The next item are the travel items for your all's consideration. The first is a ratification for an NDOT Safe Speeds Training and ITAG meeting. This was attended August 20th to 21st in Indianapolis. So if I could take that item individually, since that is ratification. So ratification is required for that one travel item.
Okay, motion, second. All in favor? Motion carried.
And then for approval, we have the Kentucky Rural Water Association Conference in Lexington, August 27th to 28th. That would be attended by our water management coordinator, Justin Carter, and Brian Lloyd, who does the GIS services for that contract. We have the Dell MHAC, so that is the Mental Health and Aging Coalition Conference and the State Health Insurance Assistance Program Conference in Lexington. This is provided by Dell. This is a no-cost training, and it provides a lot of those training requirements that our staff is required to have. And that again is September 23rd to 26th in Lexington. We have the Kentucky League of Cities Conference and Expo, September 25th to 27th. And that is additionally in Lexington, and that would be attended by Jennifer Wilson and Ethan Scroggy, who you all have heard from earlier. We have the Indiana Metropolitan Planning Organization Conference, October 14th to 17th in Indianapolis, 3 staff members attending. The Transportation Planning and Ad Planner meeting, October 15th to 16th in Ashland, Kentucky, attended by 2 staff members from our Transportation Department. The Kentucky Public Procurement Association Annual Forum in Owensboro, October 16th to 18th. That would be attended by 2 of our Social Services Finance staff members. And then finally, the SE4A conference, that's the Southeastern Area Agency on Aging Conference, and that's in Gulf Shores, Alabama, October 20th to 23rd. That would be attended by our Division of Social Services Director, Jessica Elkin. I have more that I could share about any of these travel items if you all would request, but if you don't have any, don't request any additional information, your approval is requested for those travel items.
Anyone have any questions about the travel?
I like those Gulf Shores too.
It's great. All right, looking for a motion
Motion to approve.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
She carries.
And then finally, just the meetings next month. We have the Transportation Technical Coordinating Committee on September 11th here in the KIPDA Burke Room and on Zoom at 1 o'clock. The Transportation Policy Committee, September 26th at 12:30 here in the Burke Room and on Zoom. And immediately after awards, we'll have the September Board of Directors meeting at 2 p.m. in the Burke Room and on Zoom. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the board?
I would personally like to thank Justin and Felicia, Nathan. I can't remember your name. But for all that they've done for us to help us push through the MXD and our water project. It's getting extra money. But again, I want to thank them personally. They spent a lot of time and effort in our community to help us.
Appreciate that. Any other comments, business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, all in favor?